Hello and welcome to Feminine Success Secrets, where women come to learn to be powerfully feminine. I'm Candice Oneida. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to be more feminine using your guilty pleasures. Now, lots of feminine things at first appear as guilty pleasures. Things like lots of rest and sleep, taking a bit of out-breath and space and time between doing things, slowing down enough to eat good food, to sit down and nourish yourself and eat whilst not checking your phone and your email and being on the phone at the same time, right? Things that bring you pleasure, whether it's sensual pleasure or just the pleasure of contribution, right? So pleasure of service is extremely feminine. Pleasure at the body level, sex, sensuality, masturbation, those things are guilty pleasures often, and yet they put you more in your feminine power. Things such as downtime, just letting yourself sleep in. I'm not really good at sleeping in because I'm an early bird. I get up really early but I do spend a good 3 hours in the morning doing my morning rituals. That's another video. But if that's something that you need to do because your body, your energy is telling you you need to replenish, another very feminine thing. Now, why are these things important? Why are these guilty pleasures something we need to take the guilty out of the equation and just allow them to be pleasure? And pleasure in a way that doesn't feel guilty and doesn't feel shameful and doesn't feel wasteful, right? Because if there's one thing that I know, and I remember this in myself, that these things I used to think were a waste of time, that I needed to work, I have things to do. If I do that, then I'm wasting more time and it's going to get worse and worse. You see, the thing is, when you start to actually engage your experience of your feminine power, you're going to recognize how these things that bring you pleasure, this sensuality, this time, this out-breath, all of these things, they, in the medium to long term, are going to save you a boatload of time. So if time's the thing that keeps nagging at you, then make sure that you do this huge amount of self-care. It's going to feel totally disproportionate at first if you're the kind of woman that I was, that was all about do, work harder and harder, longer and longer hours. Let's finally sort of try to tick off that to-do list, which, as you and I know, never ever happens, right? Never happens. Now, when you start to actually engage and get into more relationship to your feminine power, I can't describe why, but the relationship to time changes. Something about being in the feminine time starts to warp and blend. I'll give you an example. I just moved house recently and I've been spending a lot of time inviting a lot of people into my place. I've been cooking for them. I've been spending time with them, like way more time than I usually would, and more people than I usually would, because I start to feel like it's too much time taken away. I've got so much to do, and yet I have this weird experience where the more people I was seeing in the last weeks, the more I got done. Because when I sat down to actually get work done, I got so much done in that 3 hours. I felt so filled up. I felt so nourished. I felt so much connection that I worked really fast. There was no labor to it. There was no angst. There was no, oh, I've got to get this thing finished, right? And I do love what I do, but it was really marked to me. I got so much done so quickly. And I got so much done so quickly by virtue of giving myself this lot of this, time. And, for me, this guilty pleasure thing of being with people is this exchange that happens in that process. Like often I'm talking about business because I love what I do, and I'm often putting vision on other people's business that I care about too. And there's so much exchange that happens. So there's inspiration, there's stimulation, there's just feeling supported and supporting somebody else in that experience. In order to take your guilty pleasures out of the guilty category, I want you to this week, and I want you to write this below too. Tell me something that you used to feel guilty about, but that you do this week, at least 3 times this week. Put it in the comment section below and explain your experience when you're allowing yourself permission that this is not something to be guilty about. This is something that's important for your energy, for your life, for your nourishment, for your sense of purpose, and for your self-care. If you liked my video today, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe over here. And remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.